Yesterday we talked about how to round numbers, and now we're going to talk about how to use rounding to estimate sums and differences. So if I have, for example, for number 6, if I have 93 cents, 0.93 can be thought of as 93 cents, and 18 cents, and I want to add them together, but I don't care about the exact amount. I just want to basically know how much money I have. I can round each of these separately and then add those together, and I can do that. I can do that without doing a lot of math work. So notice it says use rounding, and but it doesn't say what place value to round it to. Now, I can't round it to this place value because then there would be no rounding involved. But I can round it to this value or this value. So I can choose whichever one I want. So I'm going to choose, in this case, I'm going to choose the 10th place. But if I choose the 10th place on one of the numbers, I have to choose the 10th place on the other number too. They have to be to the same place value. So, so I'm going to round the first one, I'm going to round the second one, and then I'm going to add them together. So, I'll take you through it step by step. I'm going to circle the next number, put pretty eyelashes on it, and 3 is 4 or less. Now we say 4 or less, stay at rest, 5 or more, raise the score. So this is 4 or less, so the 9 is going to stay at rest, so it's going to be 0.9, and then everything after that is a 0. And let me circle this one, put eyelashes on it, because that's the one I'm looking at. This is 5 or more, so I'm going to raise the score. That means then the 1 turns into a 2, and everything after that is a 0. I can add this up now. I'll line up the decimals here. I put a decimal in my answer. 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 2 is 11. I carry the 1, and I get 1.1. So for this one, I'm going to round to the ones place. And I circle the number after that, put eyelashes on it, because that's what I'm looking at. This is 4 or less, so the 8 stays at rest, and everything after that becomes a 0. And for this one, I'll circle the 5, put eyelashes on it, because that's what I'm looking at. This is 5 or more, so this 5, for this 5, we're going to raise the score to a 6. Then I add these together, and I don't really need these zeros here, so I can just say 8 plus 6 is 14. And once you get really comfortable with rounding, you'll find this useful in real life situations, like when you go shopping. You say, well, this is about 8, this is about 6, 8 plus 6 is 14. If you have 2 items at the store that cost these amounts, they say, well, I need about $14 to pay for this. If I have only $10, I know I can't afford it. If I have $20, I know that I can. So for this one, this is a subtraction problem. It works the same way. You just subtract at the end. So I'm going to round to the 10th place here. I'm just choosing to round to the 10th place. I could have chosen the ones place too. Either way is fine. So I'm going to circle this, put eyelashes on it. This is 5 or more, so I'm going to raise the score. So this underlined 7 becomes an 8. There's zeros after that, but I'm not going to put them because I ran out of room and you don't really need them. So I'm going to put eyelashes on my 7 here because that's what I'm looking at. That's 5 or more, so I raise the score on the 4. Raise the score on the 4. Yes. So that becomes a 3.5. And I subtract these. 8 minus 5 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. So here are some other problems where you add some numbers together by estimating, and then you figure out which one is bigger or smaller. So 2.74 plus 4.22. Well, I'm just gonna do the easiest route and just round to the ones place. Because then when I add them together, then I'll have single digit numbers. So I'm going to look for each of these. I'm going to look at the second number. So this is 5 or more, so I raise the score. So this is 3. 3.0 is the same as 3. And 4 or less, stay at rest. This is 3 plus 4, and that is 7. Now this one, I'm also going to round to the ones place. I circle the number after it, put eyelashes on it. Now, this is the one that I've circled is 4 or less, so the 3 stays at rest, so it's 3 plus, and this 8 is 5 or more, so I raise the score, and the 1 becomes a 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5, and 7 is more than 5. So that's my answer to that one. So now we have a subtraction one also. So I'm going to round again to the ones place because it makes it simpler. I circle the number next to it. This is 4 or less, so the 6 stays at rest. And then I'm going to subtract the next number. I'm going to round it first. I look at the tenths place here. That's 4 or less. The 2 stays at rest. So 6 minus 2 is 4. Now I have 9.79 minus 3.84. I'm going to round to the ones place again. I circle the number next to it. I put eyelashes on it. If I were doing this with a pencil, it wouldn't be so covered up like this. I know it's hard to see. Actually, I think I can make my pen thinner. Let me do that. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's easier to see. So I put eyelashes on it. And I am rounding to my ones place. And 7 is 5 or more, so I raise the score on the 9. That becomes a 10. And then 8 is 5 or more, so I raise the score on the 3. That becomes a 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. So I have a less than here because 4 is less than 6. So if I'm comparing two numbers like this, and this is something that could come up at the store, you know, if I buy these two things, how much will it cost versus these two things? And you can compare them without having to do all that math. And once you get used to rounding, you won't even need to underline or circle things. You'll be able to do it in your head once you get used to it. And that's something that people do a lot in real life, and it's very helpful.